just saying that.
All right, here we go. So,
welcome. Thank you for coming out again. This is the old PGA Level 2, number 2. You guys are, it's much appreciated. Anyway.
we appreciate it.
Yeah. We're going to go over today, we're going to go over ball direction and ball flight. So there's a ton of reasons why the ball goes any which way, high, low, left, right. We're going to go over that because most people, if they know that, like we'll go over that. Once I learned this thing, I got much better because I could teach myself. It made sense to me, and you'll know how to fix yourself or why to fix yourself or different things like that. So we're going to go over the few things. We got 3 different drills, and hopefully by the end you'll be able to know why you are where you are. So let's.
All right.
Right?
Yep, it should be. Where are you?
They will or not.
Are you?
No, listen. When I put this thing through that dead wood, a lot of them
We're inside.
They thought you would do it.
We're ahead of the ball.
What about my club case? What was that? It was open, closed?
So I guess right this second we're trying to find out here.
Just hands, huh?
Hands ahead of time. Yes. All right, Jim, let's see if you're 8 degrees.
It's a real plumb.
Bang, pick it up.
No. I'll tell you this. You don't even want to get the store guy.
Nice, your hands right at the ball.
Like a model student.
All right, so now do a few slow motions. Let's see where your hands are at when you're hitting. Nope, behind.
Were they behind?
Yeah.
Really?
Now you slow.
They couldn't have been behind.
Try to stop before you hit it. Try to stop before you hit them.
Probably more than that. Wow, that's interesting. Can't be that. Wow. Seriously, maybe did I hit one? That was that much? Wow, right? Yeah. And it's hard. Jeremy.
Boy, that's something to work on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
Next time you go out after working on this, you'll hit these clubs so much further.
I'm already, I've already added different stuff too.
You're in trouble.
God,
So that goes all the way back to
The beginning. Yeah.
What about your head though?
Head should stay over the wall the whole time. Yeah. Okay. better.
Jeez.
Like now, here it is.
We got some serious work.
It's gonna cure your fat and thin.
That's good.
That's the directional thing I want to be for you.
God.
You?
Because that's gonna come with practice.
You're already
I'd have to go out
This
and
is your,
do
you
that.
have to shoot
That's
short,
an
long, fat and thin. This kind of stuff. Divot. What ranges do you guys go practice at? Grass ranges and mat ranges?
Very rarely grass.
So here's the drill that you do to practice. I don't have one of these at home. I'm sure you don't.
I just use our food dog. Or what do they call? What do they call that thing that sits at the bottom of your couch? Autumn.
Yeah.
How to use our autumn?
There you go. I'd say take a tee or a key, and when you're at the range, easy. Grass is obviously a lot easier. You're gonna make a line. Set that ball on that line.
Put it in the middle of your stance.
However you're hitting. Do you put yours in the middle?
Yeah.
But I have a 6 iron. Would I put it in the middle?
Why don't change that?
It's fine. You keep that in the middle. So when I practice, right? I'm gonna try to find out. I'm gonna have my divot in front of that line. If your divot's behind that line, or even starting here and ending here, you're not as far as you need to be. Your divot should always be
After the line.
after the line.
Well, you see enough of this stuff.
Yeah.
You're right. I just don't practice.
Yeah. It's hard,
I'm
but
still trying to get over that mind-boggling fact about the 8 degrees.
Well, the only way you're gonna live ahead of the line is to have the
you got it. Yeah. So here's the backstory. Here's why I bring up the Bobby Clampett thing after this drill. So he went around and did the study, right? College players, amateurs, hacks. So he did a study with handicap versus where they're different. So it directly correlated 100%. So he had, you can look at his book, it's very cool. So 20 handicappers and higher, the bottom of their swing, so behind the ball, 4 inches, right? 15 handicaps, 3 inches, 10, 2 inches, 5s, 1 inch. Scratch golfers and everybody else was ahead. Yeah, so the bet, there's no good player besides like those Bobby and Steve Stricker. I mean, you might see a few with different shots, but rarely will you see that. Everybody hits down it because it's the only way to hit the sweet spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Advice I had.
Really? You've never heard that?
Well, I know you're supposed to hit down on the ball, but I've never heard it put in that where you could actually realize what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I know you're supposed to take your divot afterwards, but how do you get there?
Well,
I think you've explained to me how you get there.
Yeah. Well, good. I think the thing that always helped me and I missed getting lessons and stuff was the kind of stuff on why, because I was always the kid in class like, well, you just have to, do this and do that, and then you get this, and that doesn't really work for me. You got to tell me.
understand why.
Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't work in golf.
Well, because I can tell you this now, and you're going to go find your own way to figure it out,
Yeah.
right? And that's, I think, how the only way in golf you can really understand something. Because if I was to sit here and tell you, well, just even today, I've told you 15 things that you might have thought were great, right? But tomorrow, when you go practice, what you remember is the stuff that it works for you and you understand it. So by telling you all these swing things, it doesn't help because you're not going to remember that stuff.
Right.
But the stuff that makes sense to you, you'll remember. So
That resonates pretty strongly with this whole, the fact that we're basically making contact with the club is probably a position.
yeah,
Versus this one. You want us to this one.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll start seeing yourself hitting
And I
much
know
further.
that makes, and I always wonder why I don't hit the ball as far as all these other guys. Other than
Yeah. So is there any questions? I mean, I know you guys. Yeah. Oh Oh no, I
you
mean
can.
you use that right there, right?
Yeah,
You can.
find
It's
out
not
where your
ideal.
club is. How about taking
Good question. So, if you do all three of these things, in a perfect world, let's pretend we're at Augusta. No, T, we're okay. So we would be practicing. We're practicing on straight shot. And I'm gonna practice. I should have my divot at the end of the ball. The club face should be straight. My divot should be straight at the target. Right? That was if you hit a perfect shot, dead straight. Right? If I was to, so let's say I'm practicing this, right? And I go to my old swing, and I kind of cross it. Where's my divot going to be? It's going to be going straight that way, right? So you can learn a lot from your divots, and you'll see a lot of the pros. They'll hit a shot, they'll look straight down at their divot.
See which way.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I do that a lot because it's the only thing that really tells what is going on.
I don't even take it.
Not yet.
So, yeah. But I'm very interested in
So what you'll see is if you don't have a lot of club speed, is you'll see the ball go a lot lower. And sometimes that's an issue because the guys that are looking for the distance, like for instance, you guys might not have as fast a swing speed as Jeremy. So he's going to be able to hit that 7-iron, and it's going to kind of back, go a little higher. So what you might see is if you hit a perfect shot, it feels great, you took a huge divot, it might be low, you know. So you'll have to get used to that, but you'll be so consistent with it, and it'll feel good, and it'll
It's still the way to go.
It's still the way to go.
Because any lawn, it's still the way to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I wish we had a grass range, and I'd love you guys to head out there. Next week we'll go out next time we'll go out on the course.
Same with driving.
That's a good question. So
That's another lesson.
that is another lesson, but it's easy to touch on right now because it's hot and on the top. Because you see all the drivers now that are 12 degrees,
Yeah.
right? So if I have an 8-degree driver and I hit down on it 8 degrees, well, it's gonna go straight into the ground, right?
Right.
So all the pros and everybody has two different swings. You have a driver swing where you kind of hit up on it a little bit, and then you got your iron swing where you hit down. So nowadays, technology's so good that why do we have that? So Phil Mickelson a year ago at the Arizona, 2 years ago at the Phoenix Waste Management, he asked Callaway to build him a 13-degree driver. And so he's like, that's what he said in the interview. He's like, I don't know why I have two different swings, and we have all this technology. So they built one, and sure enough, he shoots 59 or whatever, or missed the putt for 59, and the whole world goes crazy. So of course, TaylorMade sneaks into the back of the factory and builds all these drivers that are 12 degrees, and said they came up with it. Right, locked up and get left behind all these things, but it is I can't argue with your drivers now unless you have a slider. It is a different swing. You got to hit up on it a little bit. Yeah. So what's that do? I mean, you do have to.
Well, I had to be careful because I can really push the ball and slice the ball.
Oh, you have a slider.
Yeah. Well,
What do you have?
Well,
You can adjust it.
What degree though?
Oh yeah, you have a slider. There you go.
You can adjust it.
See, I don't have that.
It's a knockoff.
No kidding.
That's straight out of the TaylorMade shop.
Oh, really?
To get me.
No, that's it's probably a 9.5. But
I think it's a 9.5.
yeah. So
That's fine.
with the thing, I mean, it's all technology nowadays. So
So it's basically emulating the same swing.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to
Still
argue.
ahead.
Yeah. So what happens with the longer club? You go to the 4-iron. Your hands are going to be slightly less ahead because the ball position's forward. So for you, it won't be. Your hands will always be the same amount ahead because you don't adjust your ball position.
Is it a little flatter angle? Or
swing
Yeah.
path? No,
No.
it should be the same swing. I mean,
Just
ideally,
further away.
you're just further away from the. Well, I guess it would be. I guess it would be a half-inch flatter each club.
Okay.
But that's another. That's a club fitting.
Yeah.
You could go into
Is there
days
any
of that.
physical, being the young guy that I am, is there any physical problem with me taking the divot?
No.
As far as harming my body?
Not if you're unless you're playing at Texas.
So when you hit the ball, you take your divot. It doesn't. I mean, if you don't take a divot, you miss
I've
it.
completely. I've hit it out of. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're to the point where every shot is a divot.
Yeah.
Except your.
Yeah, my 3-iron
your
off the
fairway
tee.
club and.
Fairway off the tee. Sometimes a divot, kind of right in the middle. I'll definitely take
Really?
some grass.
What about a fairway club on the fairway?
Yeah.
Divot.
Grass will fly up. You know
So you hit down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tour bound, David.
Hey. All right, boys. Any questions?
No, I want to try some swing.
Hey, thanks for coming, Mike.
You said a couple things to me today that I thought was really great. Was the
Hold on as long as you can.
yeah, the hold on as long as you can thing. Sure.
What was that, Jim?
Well, hold on as long as you can.
I didn't open up too soon. I've always known that. And he brought that back up. Okay, that means that instead of coming in and swiping across the ball, opening up versus opening up, you want to swing through the ball, hold on to this position, and then
All right, boys. Gather round. Gather round, folks. While we wait for John, shall we begin? Hopefully the Osteen shows up. He likes to block the camera anyway, so we don't need it. So yeah, we've gone over putting, right?
yes.
Learned your stuff. Taught you stuff. That was nice. Sweet spot hitting. Talked about sweet spot hitting. And now this is obviously the short game. The short game is a tough part of the game. As you know, it's frustrating. Probably not the most difficult, but you know, you think it is. If you miss this close a putt or you chip it, you miss it, whatever it may be. But it's also the one thing that people get really good at. You know, it's just the off more than anything. When you're playing against somebody or they're acting around, but they get up and down every time. So, something that is interesting with the short game is guys who, like the older guys who maybe shoot, playing their whole life, their short game's incredible. Even though they might shoot 100, you know, their short game's incredible because you do it a long time and people practice it. That's how you get better. And practice, you don't practice.
Well, I don't get as much chance right now since I'm back to work.
All that work.
Yes,
Work.
6 days a week.
Man, machine. You practice. You practice. So, yeah, what we're going to go over, we're going to do a few drills and head out on the course and do some bunker work. Should be fun. So, when you chip, everybody has their own style, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's one style because I probably don't do it fundamentally, you know, what you teach. You probably don't. You probably don't. So, we're not going to go over those things because you have your own style. We're going to go over the fundamentals, the basics, the stuff that everybody does, and stuff you have to do. That sort of thing. So let's talk about what clubs you use, right? So you always use the same club, Jim,
I've been using a gap wedge.
for the most part.
Yes.
For when do you not use the gap?
If I have to get the ball up higher and land softer, then you use the 60.
That's why you use 60 for pretty much everything. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I use a 64. For the most part.
I use 64 a lot too, and I actually do well at it, but I only use it when I need to get up and
Right.
down, you know.
Right, so I grew up in Seattle, and we had a lot of wet grass, and the only good club I had shitty clubs, right? So I had one Cleveland, without
line, you're gonna have a better chance
Yeah.
of the ball going in.
Yeah,
Less chance for air.
exactly. There's two main reasons. Yeah, the two main reasons are you can pretty much guarantee that, right? You can't guarantee how it's going to spin or whatever it may be. Yeah, so exactly. So the thing is with the clubs is even though you might be using a 60 or a 56 or a whatever 52, you want to get that thing rolling. So whether it's de-lofting the club like I do, right? I take my 58 like I have here and I would put it back in my stance and kind of do that, which is great. Really getting it on the ground. So how do you do that? I mean, most people do this and they get used to it and they learn it themselves. But what are they doing? Why do you do that stuff? Fundamentally, it doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't you just take another club with the same stroke? I mean,
That's why I use it too.
I also use a pitching. Yeah, but if you had to hit a flop shot with that,
No.
right? Yeah, right. So let's hit some. I'm gonna grab a couple balls, but the sweet spot is again very important. You wanna learn that?
It's like it's tight rest.
Toe down, so it's flat. Yep. Now, right, like this, and then scoop. Hey, wow. Yeah, you'll get good at it.
You gotta see my son.
It's good.
He's one of those guys that goes like this, and then goes like
Oh,
this,
yeah.
and then goes like this, and then goes.
Oh yeah. All right, so the first drill we're gonna do is to hit the sweet spot again. 8 degrees, right? That's our number. 8 degrees. 8 degrees is the same thing with chipping, right? You're never gonna. You can because the lies. You can read the lie a little easier with this. So like, if I was to hit off of this, if I can do that, I'm gonna hit it like that. Right? That's hitting it down there. You don't hit like that. You don't even do that now, right? So, obviously you loft it and you hit the sweet spot. So, most people's issue is they always want to hit it. They're always trying to get it up in the air. So, they open it or they don't lean it forward on it, right? So that's the tricky part, is knowing when to lean forward, when not to. So, there's a rule. I mean, you should never adjust you should always change your club first. Like, even though me and you might use a 60, you should really practice, and I work on it a lot right now, is chipping, right? You use a 52 and you roll it. If you can't do that, it's a waste. You're wasting your time. You should be able to do that. So here's what we're gonna do. You have a 52. What do you have in your hand? 60. Perfect. So if you have a 60, so I have a 58 right here. I'm gonna hit this under the bench, right? So when you do this drill, it works on keeping your hands forward, and it'll keep it forward through the shot. Because what you'll see is you get the best, golfer in the world. He'll set up great, and then he'll try to help it in the air. So this drill is huge, and once you do it kind of 2 or 3 times, you don't really need it. It's more of a visual thing. So I want everybody to come over here and try to hit, underneath the bench. See how many you can do. Try to hit the sweet spot. All right, go, buddy. Whoa! Did you hit the sweet spot?
What's
Go on, buddy.
Blake?
How you
Got
doing?
tied up in traffic, man.
No worries.
What are we gonna do today?
A little bit of short game action.
Short game.
We just.
Get a wedge, huh?
You're okay. Here you go.
Okay, cool.
58. You okay with that?
Yeah, I can work that as good as anybody.
How about that? All right. So basically, all we talked about so far was just mostly sweet spot again with short game. See, Jim, you flipped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I had trouble with chipping.
Yeah, there you go. So basically, we talked about what club do you use. What club generally do you use? Use the same club always?
No, I wish I could, but I use I have a 56.
Lifting up.
6.
You can't even see it. It's weird, you know.
I have a 52.
I do too.
All right.
Well, I'm such a crappy chipper.
So why don't you try to
Lift
hit it?
up.
I want you to try to chip and use the bench and keep it underneath. So what this is
Keep it underneath the bench?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You don't have to, and if it hits it, it's just a motion thing. So we want you.
So what's the idea of the bench? Stopping?
Nope. So what it'll teach you to do is it'll keep you down through the shot. Is when a lot of people chip, they come out of the shot, they release, their hands come up, and it'll take you a second to get over the. And that's a rental club. You could break it if you have to. Good. Hands stay forward. Good.
So I'm hitting the thing, right? So
Yeah, which is fine. It's just a mental thing. So next, when you move down the road here and you don't have the bench, you still keep that in mind. So what we were talking about too, we want to get the ball rolling, right? Because you don't want to hit a flop shot all the time. You want to hit it down, you want to hit it low, and you want to get it started. Because you can read the green, you can't really read the other things. Tough to read spin. Good. So take a few and just go chip around and practice that, keeping the hands forward the whole time.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get it focused. Should have no problem with this one.
I know.
So I just So, what do you think the optimal position? How many degrees forward you should be? What do you think that number is?
8.
Yeah.
I don't understand. 8 degrees.
Just like
That's the reason our hands are forward, is to get the space to get
what if you did on the reset ball? Down.
He's figuring out what it is. I realize it's sweet spot.
So you get it up high over the wall.
Thank
We're hitting it with the bottom of the club.
Right.
You know what about this one, Blake?
Just don't miss. You grip down.
I do. Yeah, more control.
Reach forward.
Way forward. All right, so he just, brought up a good point. Does anybody have any questions on the ideal or the fundamental chipping? How you should stand, weight forward, feet back, ball where? I mean, do you guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I know weight forward, but I'm not
I
sure.
understand you want the ball on the right here, right about here, at the inside of your foot. You want your weight forward. You want to open your stance. Get your club at least 8 degrees. And don't ever let your hands get your club head get ahead of your hands.
That's pretty good. That's kind of how.
that's not it?
The one thing that I would change, though, I wouldn't change. I would just clarify is when you say your stance is open, your feet are open, but nothing is evident. Your chest is still square, right? So the feet open is a lot of people think that's open. They're aiming left, right? So when they do that, if I'm aiming at this flag and I turn my feet, look, nothing's going to happen. I'm not changing anything. I'm still going to hit it straight, right? So remembering that this is how you aim. You want to turn around the ball. You don't really ever want to think you're opening your stance. You want to open to the target or close to the target. So ideal position would be, a lot of people have their feet a little wider. So chipping, you want to have a descending roll. So the narrower your stance is, the more descending it's going to be. Okay. So if you're pitching or you're trying to hit it over a bunker or you're in a bunker, yeah, you want to be stable because you're going to have a swing, right? You don't want to fall over. When you're chipping, that's the chipping spot. So you want to, whether it's somewhere in front or back of your toe, feet together. You already got it. You just kind of chip. That's a chip. So a pitch obviously is up there, wider stance. So what you can notice next time you watch pros, you watch them on TV, notice it's crazy. Until somebody taught me this, I never thought about it. Look, but they changed their width of their stance a lot with chipping and pitching. And sometimes that's all they change. So if I want to hit it high, I would be wide. If I want to hit it low, I'll be here. So notice that when you're watching those guys, sometimes they'll be hitting a little chip and they'll be kind of like this. Just notice why is that the case? How does that affect? Why would this be hit high? If you can hit a descending blow like this, with a wider stance, obviously you're going to come up with a ball. Well, no, what it is, swing down. So when I'm here, I basically I have to go out here. Right? When you do that, shallow. I should, not a huge it's not a huge thing, but what it will tell you is you always want to chip. You want to get the ball rolling as soon as you can. So if I have the option to chip, you should chip. Use an 8-iron from here to there and do your putt and get it rolling. Whether it's you're making your 64 and 8-iron or whatever it may be, get that thing rolling. Are you chipping or putting? That one? From here? Yeah. From here I'm chipping with probably yeah. I would use like an 8. I would never go less than an 8 or 9 for me because I do a lot of hitting.
My right in saying is because you have the opportunity to get the ball soon.
Yeah.
Shot. Right here, you can get the ball at the green.
Yeah.
So it's a chip.
Right.
But if you were trying to hit that up by the nets there, you'd have to pitch, right?
Right. You got it.
Because you got to fly all this before you
got it.
go out.
That's where touch comes in. That's where tempo. That's where all that. That's when it gets tough. I mean,
is a 64 more as a pitch than a chip?
Yes. I mean, you can use it. I mean, you can use it for whatever you want.
Right.
But 90% of the time, you're going to be pitching with that ball.
Because obviously, the idea that I mentioned before, you want to get the ball down on the ground as soon as possible.
Yeah, you can trust the ground. Like I can read the green, right? I can't guess if it's going to spin.
That's why I putt the green.
Right.
Even if I'm off the green. Yeah. I'm more reliable. I get the ball on the ground the whole way.
Right.
Well, the less off the ball, the better.
You got it, exactly. So here's the, if you were to chart it out, right? You take like, let's steal Jim's clubs.
They're kind of a mishmash of.
All right, so here's the math kind of chart. So you take 1, 2, 3. Your goal should always be to land the ball 3 feet onto the ground. So, right. So now you have.
No matter
distance. So that, now, this is your club. So you can practice this. Okay, this is my 8-iron. If I'm here, it's my 9-iron. If I'm here, it's my pitching wedge, right? So you have to hit it higher. You don't want to hit, if you hit your 9-iron from here, it's going to go over the green. It's going to land here, roll all the way over. So you can sit here and practice and do the same swing. That's the goal, is to be able to do the exact same swing. So when you take your right here, you know, you do that, you feel the land it right there. It shows you, right? So, I had a buddy, bridge was like, one day we learned golf, he literally snap off everything, and then he come in here and do this, go to his club and look at his guitar. Really, really broken down. But it is a good way to understand where your strengths are. So what you'll find is people don't use enough time on it, right? So this guy, who uses before all the time, comes out and tries it. You get him to be like, I'm really good at this. 10 minutes of chipping with your 9-iron. You're going to come here, your ball pattern is way closer than if you were to make your 64. Remember how?
The hard part
Yeah,
is,
I mean, it's
here's the hard part though, if you don't practice it, it's very difficult. Because you pull that 8-iron onto your back, and you get that ball so far past the pin, because all of a sudden you've got all this extra punch in your club you never knew you had.
Right.
And if you don't practice that 8-iron, sometimes it's better to pull the other club out of your bag.
So, you made a good point earlier though. Whenever you can, cut.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
If I was, I mean, if you got to practice it as well, but your worst chip is always, I mean, your worst cut is always better than your worst chip.
Yeah, always.
You can chip it into the grass, you never even cut it. Like, when you have nerves, and if you're like in a match, or whatever's going on, cut it. Because I'll bet you $1,000 that if we all cut it from here to that flag, it would be somewhere within 10 feet. You know, I mean, it would be somewhere close, right? But if I chip, sometimes out of the pin, I might be way over there, or way over there. I might double chip it, or it's just safer. It's like a lie. Yeah. Yeah, see that?
That's all he does. Take his money.
Wow.
That's all he does.
All of that. If you understand the spin, right? So this is going to come out with no spin, right? It's going to jump forward almost. So understanding those things is almost just as important as being able to know what to do. I mean, know how to chip. So that's where experience comes in. You know, we've all been playing this game a long time. You know, but you might not know. What would you say that is going to happen? I mean, would you think about that? I mean, you just got to hit it. Right. So thinking and learning from your mistakes is huge. It's not going to spin, right? So when you hit it, you know, you're going to hit it. You're going to have that in between them. There's not going to be any club. Right there. It's just going to kind of spin right there. So what I would do here, you know, like if I had that, I mean, you got to go down and get it, right? You know, so it could be something just, you know, pop up, and it'll roll a long way. Nice. But just being able to read certain things, I'd almost rather have this than a ball teed up. You know, like on the highest rep. Yeah. Yeah. But then again, practice it. So I'm gonna do one more technique with chipping that will make everything really easy, and then we're gonna go to the bunker. So if you have, let's say we're chipping, right? That's how I chip. I learned it because it doesn't make sense not to. So when I teach my Get Golf Ready class, and no, they've never played before, so our first session is putting, right? Basically, pick it up. There's not a lot you can do with them besides teaching how to hold it and where to put it, and then they're off on their own. With chipping, it's a little tougher, but it's an easy transition because it's the same motion, right? When you chip, the last thing I want to do is when we're at that bench, or we're doing this, or we're hitting it, right? We don't need to do that because there's a technique. If you just putt, so let's say I'm just putt, right? Am I going to hit the sweet spot with that? No, we're going to thin it, right? So
It didn't seem that way.
left side. Now we're I hit the sweet spot. Is this difficult? This is like putting stroke. It's not going to be difficult. So you just set up, lean forward, and putt. You can get so consistent and good with that you'll never go back. It's simple. So everybody should go around, grab a few balls. So I want you to aim, really focus on your aim, just like you were putting, right? This is a putt. Okay, set it to where you're aiming, set it up, lean forward, and then just putt. Try it out. Try it out, Hoagie. Grab one of those.
Grab a stick. Grab a stick.
And some wolves. Golfing balls. And here, right? Putting. He did. Ready to putt too? No. I'll putt it. Now all the way through. Just cut it. Hey, you putt, Jeremy? Monster. Make it in the small hole.
Chipped it in the small hole.
Yeah, when you're a cross-handed putter, you can't do it like a putt.
No, you can cross-hand it though.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's like that guy in Big Break.
Yeah.
You know what? I got it.
Figured it out, huh?
My putting's been good too.
So there you go. And then you'll find yourself starting to read chips. I'm going to play a cup out and start making it. Amazing.
stopping?
Hey. Alright, so does everybody kind of understand the point of this? Trying to keep it simple, right?
Yes.
Butt pressure
I like it.
Just like a putt.
just like a putt.
I can't emphasize that enough about this.
With the weight forward, it gets you to the sweet spot. It's sweet.
Jeremy? What's up, man?
So,
Chris, I've
Pretty Griffey shot. Nick, how do you like
so
this?
let's head out to the bunker shot. Yeah, that's perfect.
Those glasses are here.